Good morning. Craig Howard here again. Did you ever do something and you thought after you did it, I wish I hadn't done that? Probably everybody has at one time or another. Um, I read about a guy by the name of Tanner Cook, and he had a YouTube channel. Um, and he would go around pranking people. And on this, then he would put the video up, and he would reveal that it was just a prank and that he was showing it on YouTube. Well, one day he decided he was going to prank this girl, and he was going to act like a stalker and see what kind of response he would get from her. And so he followed her around. He was acting very stalkerish, whatever that means. And he was following her, and she had stopped a couple times and told him, leave me alone, get away from me, stay away from me. And finally, as he kind of was following her one more time, and he got a little closer than what she felt comfortable with, she pulled a gun out of her purse and shot him. Shot him in the abdomen. He survived it, and she was arrested. He was arrested. Both were charged with felonies, and the whole thing just went completely sideways. And it reminds us of a principle in Scripture that is found over in Galatians chapter 5, verse 13. It says, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but don't use your freedom to indulge in the flesh, rather to serve one another humbly in love." In other words, just because you can do kind of anything you want, and that doesn't mean that just because you can do anything you want, doesn't mean there are no consequences. Everything has consequences. And just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it, because the consequences are still going to be there. Yes, you have tremendous freedom as a Christian, but that doesn't mean that freedom allows you to do anything you want, or be anything you want, or go anywhere you want, or say anything you want without consequence. God still has guidelines. God still has things that he considers right and wrong, and when we ignore what God considers to be right or wrong, we're going to pay the consequences. Sometimes we do things and we realize after the fact, boy, that was really stupid. Sometimes we get away with it. Sometimes we don't. And when we don't, things can go really bad for us if we haven't taken the time to think it through and put some limitations on ourselves. This verse in Galatians chapter 5 just says, remember, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Just because, and you can apply that to a lot of different things. Just because you can say it doesn't mean you should. Not everything that you think needs to come out of your mouth. Just because you can go there doesn't mean you should. Just because you have an opportunity to do something that seems really outrageous doesn't mean you should. We have to consider two different things. Number one, because of this guy's actions, now granted, I'm not justifying her pulling out a gun and shooting him whenever he didn't present any clear danger to her, but she felt threatened. And I haven't, though she was charged with a felony charge, doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't, the article that I read doesn't give the disposition of how the case came out or what happened with her. But because of his actions, he caused this young woman to get in a boatload of trouble. We have to remember that sometimes the consequences to our actions don't just affect us. Sometimes they affect the people that we're engaged with or other people in our lives. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. Something to think about today. You have a great day. God bless you, Mom. If you're watching, I love you. And Aunt Judy, God bless you. I love you too. Bye now.